You're now locked into the Lakers Land podcast with your host, Seven Mitchell.
Bronny James, it seems like he has turned the corner and is defying some of the odds. What will be the new challenges and the new expectations for Bronny James going into his second year
You're now
campaign?
locked into the Lakers Land podcast with your host, Seven Mitchell.
So, what are the challenges that are in front of Bronny coming off of this summer league performance? He just had three very impressive games in the summer league. His last three games, if I'm not mistaken, Bronny numbers was pretty standout. He had 18, 5 and 3, 17, 5 and 5, 14, 3 and 2 in his last games, three games. Overall in the summer league, Bronny James averaged just over 14 points, just under 3 rebounds, under 4 assists. He shot about 48%, I believe, from the field, and he played about 24 minutes. So there are some strong talking points and concerns, challenges that I want to speak on this afternoon here on Lakers Land when we're talking about Bronny James and what should the expectations be like for Bronny James in this upcoming season. Shout out to the homie Bit in the building. Bit, if you want to come up and join me, I will drop the link. I do want to have a conversation about the expectations and challenges that arise Bronny James in this upcoming season. Shout out to Steve Go Shoot as well. He says, as far as I'm concerned, Bronny needs 20 minutes a night on the court to show off what he really can do, not just this week's summer league. Okay, well, let's get into this conversation about Bronny James. First and foremost, what I want to know, and one thing that I wrestles with me mentally is the role of Bronny James. What is his true role? Let's have some clarity, if we can, when we talk about what role Bronny should be playing moving forward. I mean, is he more of a combo guard, or should he play that 3-and-D role to you guys? I see potential on defense. I've seen that from day one. I'm seeing a little bit of improvement when we talk about the spot up shooting, but I do want to see more improvement with his efficiency. Secondary playmaking seems to be something that we can see as a plus. But again, I'm just not sure what role do you feel like fits best for Bronny. Would it be the combo guard role? Would it be the 3-and-D role? What is his potential ceiling for Bronny James at the end of the day? He may not be a superstar by a long shot, but going off of what we've seen, can Bronny potentially at least be a reliable rotation player? I think it's important that we emphasize, the gradual growth than figuring like he needs to become a star instantly. If we're going to allow Bronny James to grow, and if you have been one of the people that have allowed Bronny James to grow in his first year, I would think that you would have to be impressed. He's not doing anything that has blown anything off the, like off the roof or anything like that. But I will say that I don't believe Bronny James have screwed things up. And then you look at the LeBron James factor, right? If this is LeBron's last dance, what does this actually do for Bronny? Like, how much pressure does it put on Bronny if this is going to be the last dance for LeBron with the Lakers? Bronny is not only carrying his own NBA dreams, but there's a legacy that is still going to be judged even when LeBron is gone. What is the mindset? What is the motivation for Bronny being in the second year of the league if his dad is on the door. Some say that probably is a good thing. It allowed Bronny to really be his own man. But where do y'all think Bronny mindset would be if this is indeed LeBron's last year? I think that is definitely a concern and a challenge that is going to arise Bronny next year. It's just the mental part. What about the support system moving forward? Bronny will always have his camp, but when we talk about on the court, in the game, with LeBron being non-active, what does that look like for Bronny's development? What type of support system will he have? I don't hear a lot of people talking about Bronny James in a negative or in a positive light as far as teammates go, as far as peers go, as far as other NBA players. I wonder what level of respect that they honestly have for this kid. And then I think the LeBron factor also comes into play when you talk about the media. Going into this next upcoming season, with LeBron possibly being retiring after next year, there's a double-edged sword for Bronny James because he's going to be constantly being compared to his father one way or another. Realistic and unrealistic perspectives and point of views, I believe, is going to be put out there by the media when we talk about Bronny James. So LeBron leaving is definitely a challenge and a concern that I think that awaits Bronny in his second campaign. What does his mental look like? The summer league to me showed real growth for Bronny James. And I know it's only the summer league, but when you were critical of a player as he was, being drafted 55th in the second round, every little bit in my eyes count. Shooting just under 50%, averaging 14 points per game in these summer games. It showed me something. I think that's real solid for a young player who's still trying to adjust to the professional speed of the game. I think Bronny, his decision making and his shot selection over these last 3 games have really gotten better. He's picking his spots better. He's not forcing shots like we've seen for the duration of his first year. He's showing a lot of patience and he's showing a lot of awareness. And this is what I projected. This is what a lot of people projected if you were going to give Bronny a chance. Some people just felt like Bronny James did not belong in the NBA point blank period. Then you had some that felt like he just wasn't NBA ready. And there's other storylines and narratives. I've always felt like Bronny belonged. But if he was going to really have a career in that, it was going to have to be on the defensive end of the basketball court. And I'm watching him now, even on the offensive end. He's attacking the basket more. He's making plays for his teammates. I think this summer league, even though the competition is different, even though the pressure is different, he checked off a lot of boxes as far as the concerns that you had for his rookie year. Playing with limited minutes, trying to adjust to this NBA speed. This isn't college basketball. It is a huge jump from what, Bronny came into the league with, especially off of the heart issue that he had. Seeing what's going on now, I am pretty impressed, but there are definitely some challenges that I do think, arise Bronny moving forward. He's overall, though, I can't front on him. I've been impressed. As far as defense go, his rotations, his lateral quickness, his anticipation, His anticipation to the ball, from my eye test, has been among the best in the summer league of all guards. Even when Bronny offense lags, his defensive effort has been consistent to me since day one. Bronny looked to be back in his bag in the summer league. You're finally getting to see that 5-star McDonald's All-American version of Bronny. You know, that explosive first step that he got, the smart reads, you know, that signature poise that Bronny James had. You really seeing it all come into fruition, you know, and me, I'm proud of the development of Bronny James, because regardless of how strong his camp was, you know, he had a lot of people going against him. You know, there was a lot of crazy narratives out there when we talk about Bronny James. He didn't earn it. You know, LeBron forced him into the league. He's just a celebrity pick. It was a whole bunch of stuff that came with that baggage of Bronny James. And in a sense, I feel like he's answered the bell. People forget, and I don't want to keep harping on that near death health scare that he had, you know, in college, but that was real. Being who his father is, he didn't have to come back and play. So him come back and dedicating himself, committing to the game, it proved to me a long time ago that he wanted to play the game of basketball for him, not just for his dad. And, you know, right now, even though this is a small sample size, you have to be a little bit impressed with the development. I can't wait to see what we have with these Lakers. I don't know what other moves that's still going to be made um, from Rob Pelinka in the remainder of this offseason, but specifically with Bronny, I am seeing a lot of improvement defensively. Again, that's the one thing that I'm hanging my hat on. His anticipation, his ability to read passes, lanes, it really stands out to me. His speed, his agility. Um, you know, I think his quickness, his footwork is such a plus. Defense is really all about effort, just as much as it about skill. And Bron's consistent hustle to me is very noteworthy. How his defense, you know, creates transition opportunities, and it boosts his team's defense. It really does. But what aspects of Bronny James' game needs focus the most in order for him to be next level successful? I think shooting consistency is number one. He's going to get stronger. He's going to get smarter. Um, I feel like he's a. When we talk about growth areas for Bronny, number one, first and foremost, would just be the consistency of shooting a basketball. Spot up shooting, very instrumental. Very instrumental. I'm just impressed, bro. I am really impressed. I've always believed in Bronny James. Again, he's not doing anything as far as numbers to blow something off the roof, but he has been a little bit impressive. I'm just wondering, with all these little things going on behind the scenes with his father in this organization, how is that going to affect his mental going into next year? And what type of security blanket does Bronny James have with the Lakers when LeBron goes? It's one thing to feel like Bronny is NBA ready and he or be good in the NBA or decent in the NBA. But with the Lakers specifically, will they be quick to get rid of Bronny once LeBron go? And can you imagine Bronny James being a journeyman in the NBA? Because I really find it hard to believe that LeBron would have a lot of control over where Bronny goes, especially once he retires. Bronny would be kind of on his own when we talk about destinations. So it's going to be real interesting when we talk about Bronny James and his career. These next couple years is going to be very, very pivotal because he could be losing his dad as a teammate, and he could be losing the locale period. The Lakers as a whole could get rid of him if LeBron opts or demands a trade. I wonder would Bronny be included in that package? There's a lot to unpack when you talk about what could happen to Bronny as far as the Lakers. But, just looking at right now what we have in front of us, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 48%, 24 minutes in the summer league. The eye test, I have to give Bronny James a thumbs up. I definitely have to give Bronny James a thumbs up. I'm not saying that what I've seen in the summer league should give him an X amount of minutes in this rotation, but I'm just happy that he's not screwing anything up. He's showing potential, and it ain't like the Lakers ain't going to be able to use him. Let's be honest. It's not like the Lakers ain't going to be able to use him. So we'll be figuring this thing out a whole lot more in detail here on Lakers Land. Shout out to everybody. But, I think that concerns and challenges for Bronny James, there definitely will be some in his sophomore campaign. I don't know if I'll see a sophomore slump, though, from Bronny James. He may skip the sophomore slump process, and he may actually have an outstanding second year, especially in comparison to the first. So, I'm going to remain objective as I've always been when we talk about Bronny James. He's going to continue to have his haters, and that's cool. He's got to put the work in, but for so far, I feel like he has put the work in. He's committed to the game, and we're just going to have to see this shit play out, bro. We're just going to have to see this shit play out. I'll get at you guys later on this evening. I was super late to this stream, chopping it up about Bronny, but we got a couple things. We got the Lakers docket going down live tonight. So anybody in the Lakers organization that you guys want to put cases on, we're going to have night court tonight. We are bringing Lakers docket live in full effect to YouTube. So anybody in the Lakers organization that y'all want to put a case up against, that y'all got a problem with, we're going to bring y'all up to the stage, let y'all plead your case, and we're going to let the live chat be the jury to decide if the defendant is guilty or not guilty. So we are bringing the Lakers docket out tonight for night court, here on Lakers Land. It should be a bunch of fun. I don't know exactly what time tonight we're going to start, but we'll be locked in sometime this evening. Y'all stay safe for the rest of the day. I'll catch you guys later, but y'all let me know what y'all think about Bronny James, his summer league performance overall. Like I said, these last 3 games, he was cooking. Bronny has been cooking in these last 3 games, and though he has a lot of challenges and some concerns that you can have for this upcoming second campaign, things are looking very promising for this kid. I got to keep it real, and I feel like he's earning his spot. That's the most important thing to me. Bronny is earning his spot.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Lakers Land podcast with Seven Mitchell. If you rocked with the show, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a review wherever you're listening. Join the conversation on social at Lakers Land Show and tap in for daily takes, polls, and more. Until next time, stay loyal, stay loud, and always stay Lakered up.